There is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington. No, that's not my quote. That's what the late great Chadwick Boseman said at a tribute ceremony to Denzel Washington about 6 years ago. All right, there is no Black Panther without Denzel Washington. It looks like that moment is about to come full circle because Denzel Washington, during an interview with Variety magazine in Australia, he announced, he said, I played Othello at 22. I'm about to play Othello at 70. After that, I'm playing Hannibal. After that, I've been talking to Steve McQueen about a film. After that, Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther. I probably should have just said Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther. But I kind of wanted y'all to get a little suspense. So, how did you enjoy your little suspenseful moment? I'm just messing with you. But this is exciting news. This is great news. This is great news. You know, first, I want to tell y'all something. I'm not a believer. All my life, I hear people say, don't be I told you so guy and all that. And I learned, at first I thought it was a matter of just being respectful and stuff, but I've learned that no, the person that's telling me that, the people that's telling me that, they're the ones that's being disrespectful because they don't want to hear me say I told you so, because it's like if you just say, hey, Tavares T, you're right, but then I won't say I told you so. But if you're not going to say T, you right, I'm going to say I told you so. Because guess what? I got no problem admitting when I'm wrong, and people are quick to point out when I'm wrong. So if you quick to point out when I'm wrong, just be quick to point out when I'm right on something. So for the past 2 to 3 years, I've been saying Denzel Washington needs to be in Black Panther 3. I have came up with a few ideas on how they can have Denzel Washington in Black Panther 3. Don't believe me? Check out the links below and some of the links at the top right here that I added. These are videos I did. Some of them I did 7 months ago, some of them a year ago, some of them about over 2 years. Okay? Meaning it's going to say 2 years ago, but it was more than that, but it wasn't 3 years ago. Okay? But all in all, man, listen. I think that is incredible. If Denzel, now I don't know what part Ryan Coogler is going to be writing for him, because the way I look at it, let's say Denzel was going to be playing T'Challa. You don't announce that at Variety Australia. No, you save that for for Comic Con or for some big announcement. All right, that's what you do. Now I know people would say, "Hey, man," and I heard Anthony Mackie say, "Hey, the one thing about Marvel, you don't talk about Marvel." Well, this is Denzel Washington, okay? He could talk about whatever he wants. Like, they didn't get rid of Mark Ruffalo, and Mark Ruffalo was just spilling the beans out, spilling the beans, the mac and cheese, spilling the god doggone turkey, all the Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, all over the doggone place. All right? We still like him as Hulk, But, well, maybe that's probably why they nerfed Hulk, because he kept telling stuff. But anyways, I think that would be awesome. I mean... to do a little recap on some of my ideas I did have on this. I can't even talk right. Like, one was, I felt like since we're in the multiverse, like you take Doctor Strange 2, for example, or whatever. Well, you take the timeline where the X-Men is at, where Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry and their X-Men at, Patrick Stewart. All right, so you could do a storyline where that Storm, she is married to Denzel's T'Challa. They're a lot older now, so it will kind of be like a old man T'Challa, kind of, and old woman Storm. I hate calling them old because this is movies, it's fiction. Denzel been looking like he's 35 to 45 for a long time, even though he's past. I think Denzel is 70. Okay, so I do think you can do a. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Denzel as T'Challa and Storm? Excuse me, and Halle Berry as Storm in a movie together as husband and wife? Who wouldn't want to see that? And if you one of the few people who wouldn't want to see that, okay, don't see it. The movie will still thrive without you. But I think that would be a good concept. In addition to that, what you can do with that, you can You can have him tell it like in the present time, like in the future. You can put this in, it's to be more futuristic. All right. I mean, you can make this the intergalactic empire storyline or whatever. But there's a lot of room for creativity. I feel. I'm not trying to tell Ryan Coogler how to direct or write. He's the professional. You know what I'm saying? Like and I want him to make an awesome movie. I do. Any criticism in the past that I've had of Ryan Coogler, I mean, hey, I have praise and props for Ryan Coogler as well. I mean, I'm a fan of movies, fan of comics, fan of cartoons, fan of these characters, so I want to see them do good. But what you can do is have them playing the characters in the future, or it could just be a standalone futuristic story, or you can be like, well, their character is have it kind of like Days of Future Past. You know how Days of Future Past, you got to see a storyline taking place in the future and in the present or in the past or whatever. Well, yeah, you can do it like that, where John David Washington could be the young T'Challa, and we can see how he escaped that scroll ship, because what happened was you find out that in Wakanda Forever, that since we never saw a body, that T'Challa wasn't dead. Okay? Don't tell me, well, in the movie they wrote him dead, he's dead. Listen, this is movies. If a character is just dead whenever they are in a movie, then we would never have Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead, okay? Dawn of the Dead, Resident Evil, okay? Pet Cemetery. Why would they say sometime dead is better? If a person or a pet was dead but didn't reanimate. All right? Like so many movies where like somebody comes back from the dead. Apparently Scarlet Witch is coming back from the dead. All right? I mean, come on now. Come on. Superman was dead. Okay? So this is these fictional characters. Fictional characters. But I understand hey, there's it's what's the word I'm looking for, man? Like what's the word I'm looking for? It's hard to replace Chadwick Boseman. And that's why I say, hey, you're not looking to replace him. Whoever plays T'Challa, you want to have an actor who can continue the role, continue the stories. We're not asking any other actor to be like Chadwick Boseman, because God made everybody different. I mean, even the best actor or best actors in the world, you can't be Chadwick Boseman. You can be T'Challa, but you cannot be Chadwick Boseman. Everybody is different, man. I think about the movie Predator. Jean-Claude Van Damme was initially the Predator. Jean-Claude Van Damme was like 5'11", 5'10", muscles from Brussels, okay? Athletic, very like we know Jean-Claude Van Damme resume. That's that he's that dude, okay? Didn't work out. So they replaced him with man, what's the guy's name? I remember him as a kid. He dated the lady off of 227. Yeah, man, and he also played in Harry and the Hendersons and some other movies. Let me get his name. It's Kevin Peter Hall. Kevin Peter Hall. He was about like 6'7", 6'8". He played the Predator. The thing about it is this: Jean-Claude Van Damme's Predator, they didn't really like the. See, Arnold was taller. Is taller than Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it was the size thing. They wanted the Predator, because see, his Predator, Jean-Claude Van Damme's Predator, was going to be very, very agile and all that stuff. But when they got Kevin Peter Hall, his Predator, he was agile, but he's big and huge. Think about that. That's almost like, let's say if you're, yeah, I mean, it's a size thing. And I think that did make a difference. When you seeing somebody big like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Bill Duke, and them, and Jesse the Body Ventura, they're going up against somebody that's way bigger than them. That makes us, the audience, even more scared and intimidated by it. Or you think about Spartacus. All right. What's the actor's name? Spartacus. It's Andy. God, man, I'm chopping up names right now, man. I'm messing up names, and I don't want to mess up names. That's why I'm gonna look it up. Let's see. See. Andy Whitfield. Andy Whitfield did a phenomenal job as Spartacus. All right. And from my understanding, that wasn't the first iteration of Spartacus. But when I saw it, I saw the show like in 2012, 2011, I was like, man, this dude is cold. Then I found out, he was sick and they did a prequel series. And then you find out that, excuse me, that the young man died in real life. They ended up recasting with Liam McIntyre. And I'm going to tell you something. Watching Liam McIntyre as Spartacus, he was Spartacus for 3 seasons. It took me, what was it, 3 seasons? I think it was 2 seasons, okay? It, was it three? I don't know. The first season with him as Spartacus, I wasn't feeling him as Spartacus because I kept thinking, oh, that's not Andy Whitfield. But see, what I like what they did is that they made him, I moved my laptop. When Liam became Spartacus, they made him more of a supporting character. Like you knew Spartacus was there, he's gonna do his thing, but they increased the role. They gave the supporting cast was phenomenal. Okay, they gave them more to work with and more screen time, so that way it could balance it out until the audience got used to it. And then the next season, once I finally got used to it, he started to have more screen time. If that's what it felt like to me. And it's like, to me, that's the equivalent of, you think about the San Francisco 49ers. You got Steve Young backing up Joe Montana, the legendary Joe Montana. Steve Young was great. Joe Montana was greater. All right. They traded Joe Montana to Kansas City. But the thing about it is that the face of the team, it wasn't just Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Like, what it was is that when Joe Montana left, the face, it was more Jerry Rice. Okay? It felt like it was more Jerry Rice. They got Steve Young out there, but he wasn't the face of the franchise like Joe Montana was, as great as Steve Young was. And, they brought in, Ricky Waters, Charles Haley, Deion Sanders. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, to make up for what they lost with Joe Montana when they traded him, you got the other players being the face. I think, Brent Jones was still there. Tom Rathman. Y'all remember Tom Rathman? Man, Tom Rathman from 44 was a beast. All right. So, he was still able to get the job done, won a Super Bowl. Did Steve Young's left-handed, Joe Montana's right-handed. Steve Young is more mobile. He can run and stuff. Bigger quarterback. Still got the job done. So, yeah, it's going to be different whenever anybody is playing the role of T'Challa, but beat T'Challa. Don't be Chadwick. But I like this news. I like it. And it makes sense. Because, see, yesterday I did a video I hadn't posted yet. I'm about to post it. This is before this news came out. But Kevin Feige mentioned his top 3 moments in the MCU. Tony Stark saying Iron Man. The portal scenes in the Avengers movies. And Black Panther being revealed. The fact that he has that in his top 3, he cares about the character. We I guess you could say we trying to pressure Kevin Feige, but what it is that, man, you said you wasn't going to recast again, but a couple years later he did come along and he says, well, he felt like it was too soon. And the thing about it is, in life, what we got to understand as a people, as a society, is that you can't always get what you want. And a lot of times, you try sometime, you just might get what you need. Um, God doesn't answer the prayers when we want. He answers when it's needed, when it's time. All right. We gotta learn. We gotta be better with patience. But just because you're patient doesn't mean you remain silent. Because I think all the pressure that people and the complaints about with Kevin Feige and the MCU, I think is well deserved because you said you wasn't going to even recast it. And then when other actors die, you recast those characters. All right. But I get it. I mean, everybody grieves a different time. I mean, they were closer to Chadwick than we was. So the thing about it is when they picked him for the role, for the part, there's certain things that they saw in him which reflected the screen, which reflected Chadwick Boseman embodying the role of T'Challa. You know, it's like scouting. If you're, sports and stuff, it's certain things. It's like you're not gonna find a Michael Jordan all the time, a Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Hakeem the Dream, Elijah Wan, a Shaq, a David Robinson, Tim Duncan, a Kawhi Leonard. You're not Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant. You're not gonna find those players all the time. It's a, you got to keep trying, and and see what Marvel does. I would say like the actors and the actress who plays these characters, when you see them in other stuff, like I've been a fan of Robert Downey Jr. since a little kid, man. I've been seeing him in plenty of movies. But after the Iron Man movies and Avengers, any movie I see him in, oh, that's Tony Stark. They got Tony Stark in here. Look at Iron Man in here. Chris Evans, oh, they got Captain America in here. You know? Chris Hemsworth. I don't say, oh, let's see that new Chris Hemsworth movie. Oh, that's Thor. When I see him in another movie, I'm like, oh, Thor in here. I'm like, well, Chris Hemsworth. You know? So, it is one of those things where, hey, they have those characters. Ryan Reynolds. Oh, that's Deadpool. They have these characters. It's almost like free marketing. Well, maybe they pay them extra for this, but it's like they go around and they have them, even on social media, it's like we see them as the characters that they play. And that's because they did a damn good job at it, man. So that's how I feel on that. But when I see John Barenthal, I say that's Shane. Look at Shane, man. Shane doing Shane stuff again. Look at that. Or now I say that, or I say they go to Punisher, man. The Punisher coming out. That's the Punisher. And Frank Castle. All right. So, yeah, Tom Holland. We see him as Spider-Man. Peter Parker. But, so I get it, But, and watching Wakanda Forever came out about 2 years ago to this day. For this day. I feel like it was a good movie. I feel like that's the best movie you can make without T'Challa. That's the best movie you can make without T'Challa. All right? And I feel like with this movie here, Wakanda Forever, I feel like that the next Black Panther movie, take your time and bring in T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. Because it's like, I get it. You add to son, that's his son. Okay, fine. That's not his son's name in the comic. Okay, fine. But I want to see him with his father, man. And who knows? Maybe in this movie here, Denzel will be playing T'Challa in the future, and we're going to be seeing T'Challa Jr.'s journey. But Denzel is going to be right there. We're going to see him navigating and mentoring. You know what? It could be like, that movie After Earth. I know this is not the only movie that's like this, but like I say, in that movie After Earth, Will Smith and his son Jaden, like Will Smith's character was stuck in the ship. He couldn't move. So his son, he had to navigate his son for survival and get stuff that they need to survive and hunt and all that. You can have Denzel Washington's T'Challa kind of like that. Not, but not having him paralyzed, but it's like he's in the future and he's trying to help his son navigate certain things or whatever. I don't know, but oh, you know what? My another Denzel movie, Bones, the Bone Collector. Yeah, where he was a detective, but he was paralyzed and he was navigating Angelina Jolie on how to catch catch the killer and stuff. But Ryan Coogler, man, he's an expert, man. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing. So, hey, man, listen, dude, my message to you, man, is hey, man, do the doggone thing. Okay, hey, God put you on here. One of your blessings and one of your gifts from God is to make awesome movies. Okay, and the thing about it, just because, hey, I criticize your movies, but I say good things, I say bad things. But the thing about it, the criticism doesn't mean the movie is bad. I don't think he has made one trash movie. Like, I like Creed. I just didn't like the part that, hey, you know what? Why Adonis got to be an illegitimate child? You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, nope. Pulp Fiction is my favorite movie, and The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Those movies are not perfect. I got a lot of criticism on those movies. Okay, okay, but the vampire movie that he's coming out with Michael B. Jordan, hey, I want to see that. It looks dope. Fruitvale Station, love Fruitvale Station, loved it. Okay, I don't got a whole bunch of critiques on that, but I mean, I like that movie. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, Wakanda Forever. That movie was to do that movie without a T'Challa. I thought that was the best that anybody could possibly do. That's the 93-94 Chicago Bulls without Michael Jordan. They got to the semifinals of the second round of the NBA playoffs and lost in Game 7 to the New York Knicks, who went to the NBA Finals. Like, you can't get mad at that. Like, that, without Michael Jordan, and you had B.J. Armstrong and Horace Grant, they stepped up and became first-time All-Stars. Scottie Pippen got votes in the MVP race, was an MVP candidate. That's what Wakanda Forever was. So, and hey, I get it as fans. We're quick to say, hey, recast T'Challa, but the thing about it is, we're not the ones going through the process of trying to recast T'Challa. That's just like when we watch football games and we say, hey, C.J. Stroud, the man's open right there, but you don't see what C.J. Stroud sees. C.J. Stroud got 5 defensive linemen coming to try to take his head off. And we're on the sidelines on the screen, on the TV. Man, just throw it to him. What the hell's wrong with C.J. Stroud? But it's like, we're not out there. It's just like with me, when I'm driving, and my wife would say, I could get over. I don't get over when she says that. It's not that I don't trust her. It's just when I'm driving, I have to see. Okay, if I can't see, then I can't move the way I need to move. Okay, I learned that in driver's ed. See where you're going. Don't blindly drive. Don't just listen to everybody and all that stuff. Because when you get in an accident, that's your ass. Because the other person say, well, you went too late, or you should have went when I told you, or you shouldn't have listened to me. That's you. And when you're driving, you're responsible for everybody in the car. Okay? But anyways, in the words of Steve Rogers, I could do this all day. I really can. But there's other videos I got to get to. But I'm going to come back to this topic even more and more. But I'm happy about this news. I'm excited about this news. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Ryan Coogler is cooking up. I am looking forward to seeing what Ryan Coogler is cooking up. I am looking forward to seeing what Ryan Coogler is cooking up. I'm pretty sure Michael B. Jordan going to be some way involved in this. And the thing about it is that when you... Hopefully Angela Bassett is back somehow. When you have somebody like Denzel Washington on that, like, Ryan Coogler is already a good director, but it's like his game is going to be even enhanced even more. No doubt. So I am looking forward to seeing this. I remember the first Black Panther movie, Chadwick Boseman had a lot of input. I'm pretty sure Denzel Washington is too. So, but like they say, hey, Chadwick Boseman said, there's no Black Panther without Denzel Washington. And this is about to come full circle. I can't wait to see this. I'm excited for this. You like movies, you like sports. That means you're like me. So go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Student of the Game Podcast. Peace out.